Hey there everybody, Retro Not 88 here. I decided to do a little video because some people were asking about, how do you get dual sticks configured for games like Robotron and other dual stick games, which include actually that newer game that we're all looking forward to. Some of us are looking forward to, I don't know, Karate Champ, which of course is a dual stick game. Now, first of all, I'm using the Street Fighter II cabinet here. You might have, a similar setup for yourself. But one thing to consider is that if you're using a cabinet like this, and this is how you want to do your dual stick, you're only going to be able to do one player. Don't forget that part. I mean, Karate Champ is a two-player game. Some games with dual stick are two players, or two-player, I should say, simultaneous. And that's going to be a problem. Obviously, if you want to play a game like that, you're going to need two sticks here and two sticks here. But if you just want to have, on your standard either Street Fighter II machine or some other machine with the same layout that you've maybe done, custom, and you want to use both of these for controllers, it can be tricky. So I'm going to show you, how we're going to get into that. First of all, I'm going to also explain that these are the coin up buttons, or the select buttons, I should say. So that's select player 1, start player 1, select player 2, start player 2, which of course is generally going to be mapped to coin up 1 and start 1. These are temporary. Eventually I'm going to get some installed down here. So I'm not going to be drilling any holes for them up here. They're just hanging out right there. So if you're wondering what that's all about, there you go. This is the RGUI menu, and you generally get to it by holding down the select button and hitting the X button, I believe. XY, yeah, that's the X button. So this is what you're going to see in a RetroArch MAME setup. If you're using, say, Advanced MAME or MAME for All, you're not going to see this. You're not going to have this menu. This is the menu you're going to see for MAME 2003, 2010, 2012, etc., etc. So, and any other, RetroArch emulators, like the various Genesis emulators and all that, Nintendo. The first thing that happens when you come in here is you see the quick menu, and if you hit the back button, you're going to see the main menu, and you'll see quick menu right there. That can get confusing. Now, this is the thing. What I would recommend for most systems, if you want to change your controls, you're going to want to go here to controls and change them here. And then when you get it just the way you want it, say for Nintendo or Super Nintendo or Genesis, etc., you're going to want to save core remap file. And then every time you go into one of those games, there you go. For arcade games, you're going to want to do it once. I would suggest doing it in a game that has maybe 3 buttons. Golden Axe is my usual that I use to map all of these. That way I can get jump and attack where I want them. You're going to find that jump and attack will often be the same buttons on so many other games. And then my secondary game, so for instance, I used to have it mapped so that it was jump and attack right here, but that was so close to the joystick, I actually changed it so it was over here. So now, once I mapped it that way, in all my games, jump and attack is over here, and the third button, like magic or whatever, will be over here. And that way my hands aren't quite so close together while I'm playing. That is the usefulness of the RGUI menu. Where you're going to run into a problem is when you want to do dual stick from here, because the thing that you're going to find is that, if I go, and I see, okay, joystick up, down, left, right here, the way this works is that these are buttons. So in Robotron, that will be button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4. And so you would, like, what you would want to do is map those to this stick over here. But you can't do that because this is player 2. So these controls are player 1 and these controls are player 2. And the way that this RetroArch menu works is that you can only map player 1 controls when in player 1. Every B button that I go and every, as I scroll through there, I'm only going to see the player 1 B button. I'm not seeing, the player 2 B button, for instance. So that doesn't work, and that did throw me at first too. Funny thing is, the question is, the answer to the question is really just go back to how did we all set up MAME on PCs back when MAME was new. We didn't have a menu like that. We didn't go through RetroArch or whatever. We hit tab and boom. That's really, it's that simple. You're just gonna hit the tab menu. In some cases, versions of MAME, it might be F2 or F1, but usually it's tab. And you're going to see that same menu whether you are in Advanced MAME, MAME for All, one of the Libretto MAMEs like MAME 2003, 2010, etc. You're going to see that same menu. It'll look slightly different. The Advanced MAME one looks all different, but it's the same menu, the same options. And what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to go to input this game. Oops. You're going to want to go to input this game, and that's where you're going to see your controls that you want. Okay, so you want, player 1 left up, right? Player 1 left down. What this means is the player 1, that's all we care about. Left, which is the left stick. Right is the right stick. So that's what left and right mean in this column, right? And then over here, we've got up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right. These are directions, right? So left stick, up, down, left, right. Right stick, up, down, left, right. That's it. So you're just going to go through and set those. For instance, up. This is right stick, up, down, left, right. Okay, I just set the right stick to work in Robotron, and it's really that simple. So let's give it a try. See? There you go. Boom. Dual stick action. Really no muss, no fuss. And since you changed it in the input this game menu, that means that it made a special configuration for Robotron. It's not going to affect the games in any of the other games, it's not going to affect anything else, and that's what you want. And it's going to save that. So next time you come in, that configuration is saved, so it'll be there. So now you might be thinking, okay, cool, but what else can I do with this? Well, let's take a look at some of the other stuff we can do with it. First of all, pretty soon we've got Karate Champ coming up here. DC Karate. There we go. Nope. We need K. I forgot how to spell karate, y'all. Okay, H-I-J-K, right? So this is the random button. This is kind of how I get around in this huge list, is I just hit random button until I'm somewhere near it, and then boom, Karate Champ. There are also, these buttons will go up whole pages, and you can set it up so that one of the directions or buttons will go alphabetically, which helps too. Anyway, here we are. Same thing. Tab, boom. Player 1 left, right, left, up, down. Player 1 right, right, left, up, down. That's the left stick and the right stick. Once you get those set up, you're good to go. Like I said, only going to be able to do this for one player because you only have 2 sticks. You need 2 sticks per player. So don't expect to be able to use this setup for a 2-player game. If you notice the Karate Champ arcade coming from, Arcade1UP, they've got 4 sticks, which is going to make it really interesting to play the bad dudes. I still haven't gotten any confirmation that there's going to be extra buttons for that, but that's outside the scope of this video. So here we go, and I'm just going to get beat up because I'll tell you what, I played this game a little bit, and I don't really ever remember playing it, not once in the arcade. Hey, I got him. Cool. But that's basically how it works, is that this is the movement stick over here, and this is all these different moves, and by doing combinations, like holding one stick and doing the other stick, you can create, do combo moves, somewhat like Street Fighter. I mean, that was definitely a concept that was used later in Street Fighter. So that's, that's setting up Karate Champ. Now, I know what you really want to know, though, is, yeah, but what about Smash TV? I mean, come on. So, we're going to load up Smash TV. If you haven't played Smash TV, then you probably haven't even thought of doing this because you can't think of a game awesome enough to do it with. Robotron Smash TV, that's like a must. Everything else is, you know, it's interesting, it's worth checking out. I will show you one other one that is kind of a gem from the earlier days of arcades with that uses a dual stick. But before we get to that, let's do a round of Smash TV, shall we? Let's smash some TVs. No, I'm kidding. That's not what this game's about. Okay. It's kind of the Running Man, honestly. Like this game came out when the Running Man was big, you know, and that's really what it is. It's a game show where you know, with a lot of killing, and you can win fabulous prizes. So, you know, very cynical, very satirical, and it's actually created, if you're like, oh man, this is rip-off Robotron, that's what I used to say when I was a kid. It's because I didn't realize that Eugene Jarvis made this game. This is a game made by the creator of Robotron, so he also made Defender, by the way. And I'm going to give you a bonus here now that we've done that. I'm going to give you a bonus. This doesn't just go for dual stick games. So what is that? What do I mean by that? Well, my friends, check this out. If you're like me, you have been really frustrated with the, you know, so-called Defender, whatever, set up on the Rampage cabinet, and maybe you tried to get Defender rolling on one of these other cabinets. I got it rolling on my Street Fighter II, and yeah, you can get it done with like this. You can, you know, you've got enough buttons to work with to do it. Okay, really, what Defender requires is it requires an up and down stick. It requires a reverse right here. You know, perfect positioning actually for the reverse. Okay, and then you need to have two buttons for thrust here and fire here. Okay, on the middle fingers. So you hold down this button and you're pow, 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 you know, constantly hitting fire with the middle finger. And then you've got a couple other buttons. You've got a hyperspace, warp, or whatever, and then you've got like a mega smart bomb thing. So that's cool. But what if you want your hands spread out like this? I know I do. Like, I don't feel like I'm playing Defender where my hands are down here in the corner, right? Like, that's not right. I want my hands, you know, covering the board. Defender is a big game, you know, you gotta feel like your arms are spread out. Well, you can do that. You could not do that with the Retro Art menu. You can totally do it this way. So here you go. Fire. Thrust. So there's fire is the player 2 fierce button. Thrust is the strong button. Okay. And then we've got the smart bomb, which actually, honestly, I can't remember if I set that up as this one or this one. But basically, you've got really these to work with. These two would be the ones I would choose, you know, because they're just really convenient to be like having your two fingers on these two buttons and be able to like press these, you know, very easily. So either of those work. The way it was in the arcade actually is that this one here would have been the smart bomb, and then the hyperspace button would be way down here, you know, so you have to like move your hand and hit it. So one way that you could do that, if you really wanted to kind of emulate that, is just make this the hyperspace button, and then make this the smart bomb button. And then, let's see, oh, I don't know why that was set up as thrust. I'm not sure when I did this. That should be thrust. Oh, you know what? I know exactly what happened. I haven't wired these up. There's something wrong with the wiring on these buttons right here. I think they just kind of like fell off the contacts or something. Hardly ever use the full, you know, map here, but that's what I would suggest. And that's the real point, is that you can come here and set this up however you want. So you got thrust, fire, so thrust on strong, fire on fierce. If you really want it to be just like the arcade, then boom, right there, short would be your smart bomb, and then hyperspace could be, you could put it here to make it just a little bit inconvenient, you know, on jab, or you could put it on roundhouse and really feel just like the arcade. You have to move your hand to roundhouse. It's up to you. But these are just, you know, options, okay? So, yeah, we're going to make fire here because these are the buttons that are actually connected. Not all of them are. Smart bomb. No, I don't think any of these are. Okay, so I'm going to make hyperspace actually 5. I'm going to make, which I think it already was, and smart bomb. Actually, smart bomb would probably be best here. Now, things that you need to know when you're doing this stuff. If you want it to be, like, say I want smart bomb to be any of these buttons, right? Go 3. Well, I already did 3. So I'm going to move away from it, come back, hit 3 again, and watch. Now it only says 3. Now, maybe that one, right? Now add that one. As long as I'm not moving the joystick and I'm leaving it there, I'm just adding to buttons that it needs to be, right? Another thing you could do is, that means I have to press both of these buttons at the same time to get the smart bomb. So that's another thing that you can do in this mapping, just to give you some extra tools here when you're mapping this stuff. Oopsie, move away, come back, map it to where I want it. So smart bomb, hyperspace, done. Alright, so let's try this out. Now, my buttons aren't exactly the best way that I would like to have them, but they're alright. So we got up, down, reverse, down right here on the thumb, and see, here's thrust, right here, and then there's fire, right there, on the middle finger. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how, you know, this control naturally should be set up. Like I said, I think that it will feel much better if you have these two buttons up here. I do need to flip this over and fix that wiring. I would have done it before the video, but I actually completely forgot about that. So there's my Defender setup. And now that I have kind of shown you how to do maps that will let you utilize the entire board, first player and second player, I'm going to show you one more cool thing. This is one more really cool dual stick game you should check out. And that is Black Widow. If you haven't played Black Widow, check this out. This game is really cool, really fun. It's in the kind of in the vein of Tempest. I highly recommend checking it out. Now, I get wrong CFC error. I don't know if there's really something wrong with that. I could probably try to download another ROM. But you'll see this is a vector game, first of all. And, okay, now we're waiting. Oh, here, you can select difficulty. For sure, far out, intense. Let's leave it on far out. Okay. And then, that's all it is it's like a Robotron type of game. Dual stick, that's all you've got. I don't believe there are any buttons. And remember, this was a vector game, so I mean it was beautiful in the arcade. And that's another thing. Actually, probably the next video I'm going to make, or sometime very soon, I'm going to do a video talking about getting nice vector lines, because as you can see, you know, I have some really clean vector lines here. This is not the way the vector looks on the stack Arcade1UP machines. So I'm going to show you how I got these kind of lines on my next video. So look out for that. Anyway, I'm Retronaut88, and I hope that you, wherever you are, you're enjoying your Arcade1UP or old classic video games in whatever way you enjoy to play them. And I will see you real soon. Signing off.